The eCom Seller Summit was created to prove that with the right tools and training, anyone and everyone can make money in e-commerce. So many people want to try their hand at e-commerce, selling on eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and more, but they're afraid they won't be successful. This summit will show you that there's many ways to do e-commerce, and there are many platforms you can explore, because e-commerce really has no limits. It really can pay your bills, and e-commerce never sleeps. There's nothing like waking up to profits from getting sales all night long. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the eCom Seller Summit. Hello, this is Nicole Whitlock with the eCom Seller Summit. And today's key feature speaker is Renata Darden. Renata is a single mother of 2 kids, and she uses Amazon to pay all her bills. So Renata, thank you so much for being one of our key feature speakers in today's summit.
Thanks so much for that wonderful introduction, Nicole. Yeah, as you mentioned, I've been using Amazon to pay my bills along with other platforms all across the e-commerce spectrum. In the middle of everything that's going on, I'm so thankful for this e-commerce space that we have. And I know that as we go forward with this summit, we've got, I think 23 or 24 total people that are going to show our viewers just how great it is to be able to rely on all different facets of e-commerce to make sure that we're getting things done.
Absolutely. So today your topic is learning how to pivot in challenging times. So let's go into it. And what would you like to tell those sellers that are either current sellers or thinking about getting to the e-commerce space?
Well, one of the things that I like to look at for me personally, because I have a technology background. And so the thing is that with technology, things were always changing and still are. But when I worked in that space, I worked as a project manager. And so one of the things that we were doing was implementing change. And we often ran into people that were change averse in the workplace, people that didn't want us messing with their workstations, didn't want us making changes to their software, making changes to the things that they had grown accustomed to. And so as a business owner now, I find myself in that same situation that I used to think so, weirdly of other people, like, well, why can't they see that we're making things better? And now when change comes, I know that, I have to very quickly adapt and figure things out so that, I've got to keep the wheels turning. And so from an e-commerce standpoint, because I use Amazon as my primary platform, I like to tell people that, I'm not completely in control of what goes on. Amazon is a retail behemoth. And so what Amazon says goes. And because I've got products there, products here, and I've got products in transit most of the time, I've got to make sure that I'm on top of every facet of that. So now where Amazon has actually implemented some changes that are affecting my business, I've got to be able to pivot, as you say, on a dime and be able to make changes that are going to ensure that my business is still able to move along smoothly through this whole thing.
Absolutely. And that is one of the challenges, being able to adapt to the change and then continuing to have income coming in. So what are some of the tips and strategies that you would recommend sellers either keep in mind right about now or that they consider implementing in their business right about now?
Well, one of the things that I'd like to tell people just to keep in mind is simply that just because change is coming, you don't have to look at that as a bad thing. Especially now, we've got some things that are going on in our society, in our own communities that are very uncertain. But if you've got an e-commerce business or if you don't have one yet, now's a great time to get started or a great time to actually look at how you can make changes in your business to make it better. I know, Nicole, you and I have specifically talked about, now's a good time to look at how you can make a space now where your business can actually grow. And so I want to make sure that our viewers are tuned into the fact that it is not too late to start an e-commerce business if you don't already have one. There will continue to be ways that you can source things, that you can sell things, and that you can ship things. We're in a space right now where what I've had to do is I'm buying things online, and I'm actually, where I had been shipping things directly into Amazon, the things that are there are selling very quickly. The things that I can't ship in, I'm selling them on other platforms. We've got a number of speakers here that are going to talk to us about some of those other platforms, so I won't steal their glory. But when we're looking at, actually shifting and pivoting, make sure that you're taking a look at what you've got now around your house. It's critical right now to make sure that you're not being selfish about how you're looking at this. There are things around your house that you haven't used, you weren't going to use, and that you're never going to use. Make sure that there are people, if you know that there are people out there that could use it, that you've got that product or service listed somewhere. People don't know what you have if you don't have it out there for them to find. And so I'm taking this time, a little bit of extra downtime, not a lot because of the summit. In addition to that, my kids are home, but I'm taking the time that I do have to look around and find those things that either got shipped back to me from Amazon or things that I never got shipped in that I can't ship in now, and list those on other platforms. The other thing that I want the viewers to be sure to keep in mind is that as you're looking at the change that's coming, that you stay ahead of the curve in terms of what it's going to look like, not just now, but in the days, weeks, and months to come. You may be looking now at, well, this is what I've been doing, and it's not working for me now. Just as I mentioned, FBA, the things that I had been selling and selling very well, were not the essential items that people are looking for, and that's where Amazon has restricted us today. But those things that I'm looking at right now that I'm going to be sending in the future, I can actually optimize those listings. I can actually make those things better. Some of those things that other people have taken the pictures, I can take this time now to reach out to Amazon and improve on the listings that were already there so that I can make sure that the sales that I have for the products that's already there, that those sales are actually optimized. I got to make sure that the lights stay on. I got to make sure that the bills are still paid. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of shift where my focus is. I'm not outsourcing every day, but now where I'd say I was about 60-40 retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, and I flipped that. I'm doing more online arbitrage than I am retail arbitrage now. And that works much better for me because I'm home with my kids. They're actually able to look things up for me as I'm doing them. As I'm putting things into a spreadsheet, I'm able to actually ask them to look things up on different websites so that I can do a comparison that way. Some of the tools that I wasn't using, I'm actually taking advantage of some of those free trial periods and actually making a comparison of some of the things that I was using before and finding out if, there's other tools out there that are going to serve me better in this time of transition.
So I will say this. So eCom Sellers is really, we're really committed to helping people. And so we're going to actually provide you guys a list that will be available for download of all the free services that we were able to locate when it comes to ways that can help, tools that can help you in your e-commerce business. So we'll definitely provide you a link to those free tools and take advantage of that, because this is that window in which you could use that to maybe either scale up your business, use tools you had not ever thought about, and maybe pivot or make adjustments in your business, and also, use it to be able to be more profitable. The other thing is, you made a good point, is kiddos. A lot of people have their kids at home. So your kids can be a distraction.
Absolutely.
But if you figure out how, over the next couple of days, how to find windows in which your kids can be of help to you in your business, you actually might find that your productivity can be restored. So I don't want all those people out there that are frustrated right now running their e-commerce business and they've got kids running around the house or whatever, and they're trying to keep them busy. If you can figure out a window, we call them time blocks, where you have designated windows, and it doesn't always work with kids. You have to be flexible and fluid. But if there are things that you think your kiddos can do for you to make your life a little bit easier, do that. If you have physical inventory and you need labels removed or you need labels put on it, maybe you show your kids how to do that right now. They're not going to be perfect. You got to give them some grace and mercy. Maybe you have older kids. Maybe they can do some online arbitrage research for you. Maybe they can do some product sourcing research for you. Again, give them a window in which they can do it, because the kids are bored too. So this is a great opportunity to turn this into a family affair versus just you running your business by yourself. So figure out those windows, maybe a time block in which, hey, every day we're sitting down for 30 minutes or for an hour and we're doing this one thing.
Right. One of the things about everything that's going on right now, like I said, my kids are here, but they are actually working on school things most of the time. But in light of all the change that's going on, I want our viewers to be challenged to look at things differently. When change comes about, it usually does challenge us to look at things from a whole new perspective. And out of that perspectives, it gives us an opportunity. I know some people, I'm one of them, have thought about, private label. So I know everyone's heard necessity is the mother of invention. Necessity is going to come out of all of the changes that we're in the midst of. Having your kids at home with you all day long, you're going to think about things a little bit differently. So I encourage all of our viewers to take a look at what you're doing differently, how you're shifting, how you're pivoting, and not just in your business, but in your daily life. That may give you ideas. Jot those things down. Keep a journal. Make sure that you're looking at, when, not necessarily when all of the smoke clears, but in the middle of all this, start making steps. If there are ideas for a product or a service, now's your opportunity. You can start looking at, what is it that I can provide to society or to my community in terms of a service or a product that may not be out there or actually improving upon it. So I know I'm actually challenging my kids to do that. It's like, don't just sit around and sit on your thumbs. Like, let's look at what it is that you could actually be doing. I've actually started a company for my kids. It's been over a year ago now, and I'm, putting it in their hands to do something with it, but it's a product related company. And so I'm encouraging them now to actually start putting products in their store. You've got time now. And so, we look at all of this change. Like I said, I want to make sure that everyone's looking at the good along with everything else, the uncertainty and everything that comes along with it. There is a ton of opportunity. And so that's the big part of the pivot, is to actually change how you're looking at it, change your mindset, change your thought process, change, what you do every day. So for me, I know when we look at being entrepreneurs, one of the things that happens when we go to look at something like this, we've got 20 plus amazing speakers. Look at each one of them and make sure that you take a look at what each of them has to offer, because what works for them may not work for you in your current lifestyle, but it might work for, with one of your kids. It might work for, someone else in your family. It might work out, for you as a side hustle. So I know for me, I think that many of my friends, the people that I've reached out to over the last 20 years about selling online, looked at my life and thought, well, I don't want to do that, or that's not the way I see myself doing things. But I encourage you to tailor it to your own needs. Online arbitrage and retail arbitrage worked instantly for me because I am by nature a sales or bargain shopper, a sales hunter. That's what I did. Nicole's known me for a long time, but even in my old job in corporate America, it didn't matter how much money I made. I was always going to be that person looking for the great deal. And so looking for great deals and realizing that I could actually turn that into something that would actually let me stay home with my family, that worked out well for me. Some people are not going to be out looking for the great deal, but if you're shopping online and you find something that you like, chances are someone else is going to enjoy that too. So the thing about being in a summit like this is just realizing the opportunity, finding out that if you're not finding it in a retail space, maybe you're finding it in a space where you're, selling it on Facebook because you like to do Facebook Lives. Whatever it is that you like to do, there's an opportunity here to be able to sell something behind that. And with all of our eCom sellers, summit presenters, you're going to find someone that resonates with you. You're going to find someone that does things in a way that you can say, hey, I can do that. I can do that with my family. I can do that with my kids. I can do that for my family. And today I'm going to take a chance and make a change. And that's what we encourage you to do right now, today. You're going to have an opportunity over the next 4 days to hear from some amazing speakers. And I want to make sure that you take the time to pull up a notebook. Don't just, take this as, it's just something that we're doing. At eCom Sellers, we have actually put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we're bringing you people that are going to bring you the value that you need to get started. Get started today. And if you're already started, use this opportunity to figure out how you can change how you can pivot, and how you can actually improve upon what you've already got going. There are so many different channels out there. And even as someone that's been in the e-commerce space for over 20 years, I'm constantly learning. I appreciate the fact that Nicole has brought something like this on, because there's so many people out there. As we bring more and more presenters on, and I'm learning from more and more people, I'm always taking a nugget or two from each person and implementing that into my own business. So I encourage each of you to do just that. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, get the best notes you can from each presenter, and make sure that you know whatever it is that you take down, that it's up to you to implement it. It's up to you to actually, this is your business. This is your life. These changes that are going on right now, it's your opportunity to actually make a change. If something like this happens again, if you've been saying for the last 5 years that you were going to start a business and haven't done it,
Yeah.
you can do that right now. And if something happens again, and it doesn't have to be a global happening, it could be something just at your job, it could be something just within your family. But if something comes up and you need to show up for people, you can place yourself right now in a position where you're not going to have to look back. You're not going to have to look back again and say, oh, I wish I had done that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. I've had brick and mortars. I've had online businesses. I've had, businesses where I actually did things, for people in a space where it was financial, in a space where it was, strictly sales. I've done all kinds of things, and I've had to change, shift, and pivot with the times, time and time again. And so I just encourage you right now to take a look at what's going on around us and find your space in the e-commerce arena, because e-commerce isn't going anywhere. And if you are one of those people that thinks, well, maybe it can work for me, I just encourage you right now. Have you ordered anything online in the last month? Chances are you have. And chances are everyone around you has, because this is where we are. There are going to be a lot of things that are going to change over the weeks and months to come. And this is an opportunity for you to get in on that and just say, well, you know what? While I'm out and while I'm finding the things that I need for my family, there are going to be people, whether it's here, across the country, or around the world, that need some of those same things, and they can't find them in their neighborhood store. They can't find them down the street or around the corner, and they're going to have to resort to going online to find them. Why can't they buy that from you? Why can't they click on that button and actually make that purchase for you? So this is not about being self-serving in this time. I don't want, you got to get out of that mindset. People think, that people are being opportunistic. But at this time and in this place where we are, selling online is helping everyone. So it really is just a change in mindset.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I wanted to talk about a couple of different things. Yes, we do have a great lineup of speakers. They're all going to be covering different topics. What I want to do is try to give people some strategies or some information right now that's going to help them. So strategies, one of the things I want to talk about is we're going to cover maybe 3 quick things. One is how can you get organized to get started? 2 is what are the platforms? And 3 is what are the different ways or methods of doing e-commerce? So to get organized, to get started, I'm going to list a couple of things, and then Renata can share some ideas as well. So the first thing is I need everybody to remember that a diamond changes. It's coal initially. It evolves because of stress. Because of the stress and the pressure that you put on coal, it turns into a diamond. That's the first thing. The second thing is like the same thing with building muscle in your body. It is the stress that you put on the muscle when it tears it down and then rebuilds it that makes it into a well-formed muscle. So right now we're being pushed. Everybody's being pushed. And all at the same time. And it creates a high level of anxiety and stress and frustration. So what Renata was saying was, we're all going to have to evolve. The great thing about e-commerce is that because of this, people that previously were never online are now buying online. Never, ever. So there's an irony that I will say the millennials and Gen X are probably always online, always on social media, always online. And then there's the older population or more mature population is like, I'm not using that computer. The computer is the devil. So I'm not touching it. I can't figure that out. And so now those people that said the computer is the devil are are being forced to order things online. Everything from pick up prescription drugs and have it delivered to their home to scheduling somebody to come fix their lights. Like and also seeing their doctor. A lot of people are having to see their doctor online. So online is here to stay. It's only going to get bigger and better. Online purchasing went from 14.9% from 2018 to 19 up to so far this year, it's already up 40%.
Wow.
With the increase of online purchasing going up already exponentially because of this crisis, 40%, that means that it's not going to revert back. There may be some people after this is over on the next 6 to 18 months that will maybe go back to going back into a brick and mortar. There will be, but the majority of the people will see the convenience, and it has now created a whole industry of jobs and job potential of delivery drivers that never thought that they would possibly be a delivery driver, of people who are now doing things online because they never thought that they would, of doctors' offices now saying, hey, we're going to see how can we see more patients virtually versus having them in the office. I think there's going to also, there's a lot of theories. I'm not going to get into theories on what other things can happen. But what I need you to think about is, the way in which we do things right now. We had piano lessons online just recently. We're conducting class online. People can get their cars looked at online. So the reality is that more and more transactions will be happening online, which means more and more opportunity for people to see your product, even if they don't go into a physical store. So with that evolution, one of the things that may help you in getting started to try, and let's talk about you getting organized, is yes, we are all dealing with our kids are at home. For those of us who have kids. If you don't have kids, maybe you got dogs, maybe you got pets, maybe you're just bored out of your mind, maybe you're sitting there watching way too much news and way too much TV. Everybody has cabin fever and we're all ready to go outside. So how can you get more organized? For those people that are type A personality, putting together a schedule with time blocks is not going to be hard for you. It will be just the discipline of implementing it. For those people that are more free spirits, I don't like schedules. I like to do things like I feel, and this is what I feel like doing right now. And you may sit up and want to binge watch Netflix. This is a different opportunity. If you upgrade to the All Access Pass, you'll be able to do the replay on any of the speaker sessions, and you'll have something else to watch other than Netflix. That's the first thing. The second thing is you take baby steps in implementing some level of organization in your life. Maybe you just get a kitchen timer somewhere in your house, or set a timer. They got online clocks, timers, and maybe you just commit to 15 minutes of learning about a specific way of doing e-commerce. Just 15 minutes. Because if I said to you, sit down and, you need to sit down and learn this, blah, blah, you're not, those people that are free spirits are going to be like, I don't want to do that. That's you forcing me to do something. I don't like that. And you're already having a hard time with the change already because you like being a free spirit. You want to be able to go outside and do what you want to do. So the point is, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of revisit your life, revisit how you do your daily activities. Maybe set up 10 to 15 minute time blocks for different things. 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to do some online research about what it means to become an e-commerce seller. Maybe block another 15 minutes. I'm going to create one account to become a seller. You're just going to take action. Just one account. You don't have to create all your accounts. Then maybe block another 15 minutes. I'm going to research some stuff around my house that I could potentially sell and see what it's selling for. Okay. Then maybe another 15 minutes. I'm going to watch one video. So just block it. And then that way you don't have to do it all at one time. You don't even have to do them all on the same day. This is a gradual progression to get you into an organized state. The other thing is, look at windows where you're just sitting there and you're vegging out. Choose an alternative to the news. Choose an alternative to that. Maybe FaceTime with a family member or friend. Talk to them about, what did you recently buy online? Because you're going to find that everybody has bought something online in the last 10 minutes. It's not last 24 hours. That's just the truth. So figure out how to have that, figure out how to reorganize your life. Get a notepad. If you don't want to have a notepad, Google Sheets works perfectly. And just kind of put some time slots into your day. 9 o'clock, I'm going to try to do this. 10 o'clock, I'm going to try to do that. Don't try to spend the entire hour doing it. Just take 10 or 15 minutes out of that 1 hour just to do one activity related to e-commerce and get organized. get organized, build that discipline of consistency. Because the secret to making a lot of money in e-commerce is the consistency. That
Right.
is the key. The consistency of executing your habits or income producing activities. So you have to have that consistency. So work on building that muscle while we're all at home and do it every day in tiny increments, tiny increments. And then eventually you can expand that time. Maybe you start off with 10 minutes. Then next week you go to 15 minutes. Then next week you go to 20 minutes. And you'll eventually find now I am actually getting into a rhythm of consistently working in my business. Even if you only do one or two activities a day for 10 to 15 minutes, then gradually build that up. If you find that you enjoy what you're doing, then figure out which way you want to do e-commerce and then start down that path. But first, you have to build the habit.
Right. And piggybacking off of what Nicole just said, in building that habit, we're giving you a great start here because with the Ecom Seller Summit, we've got 24 or 20 plus amazing speakers, and you can actually build that 15 or 20 minutes a day in just by listening to these speakers. You can pick and choose. If you take an opportunity to get the all access pass, you can pick and choose which of these speakers actually resonates with you, with your lifestyle, and what it is that you'd like to get started with or what you'd like to build on next. And actually, put that 15 or 20 minutes a day into your schedule. Actually, also piggybacking on what Nicole said in terms of, putting that into your schedule and actually figuring all this out. Those people that hasn't started because you don't think you have what it takes, I want you to take a look at or just think about an analogy. So the cheetah is the fastest land animal, clocking speeds of upwards of close to 70 miles per hour. One of their favorite items to eat is the antelope, much slower but faster than us at about 60 miles per hour. Most of the time, the antelope is grazing, just hanging out or doing whatever. They're not just going to be running 60 miles per hour for the fun of it. You have greatness within you, but a lot of times it takes a change or an attack. It takes something major to bring that out of you. That antelope is just going to hang out and do what antelopes do. I don't know what antelopes do, but that antelope is just going to hang out and do whatever antelopes do, graze and hang out with the other antelopes until they are attacked by something that makes them run at their top speed. Take a look at everything that's going on around you and view it as an attack to get you out of your comfort zone. You have greatness within you, and everything that you want to do can be done in this space that we call e-commerce. Innovation, if you show up in this space for innovation, you've already exhibited a sense of courage that is already going to make you successful. Many people won't step out of their comfort zone. Many people won't create anything just out of fear. I'm a woman of faith, so fear doesn't have a place in here. But when you look at facts, and Nicole has given you some facts, things that you can actually work with. When you look at facts, you can actually eliminate all of the fear. Just take a step forward and start your business or build your business or catapult your business right now. We're going to give you in these next 4 days everything that you need. We're going to eliminate all of the excuses. We're going to make sure that we give you all the information, all the opportunities. We've got panels, we've got Q&As, we've got everything that you need to make sure that when you sit down and make out that schedule, make out that list of things that you need, you're going to be able to check it off by going through this summit. I have questions I need answered. I want to do this. I'd like to know how to do this. If you don't do anything else, you're going to have a list of people that you can use and add to your network, people that you can follow, people that you can actually go to and find out more information about everything there is to know about something that's going to fit into your life, fit into the change that we have right now. And if nothing else, like I say, many of us are going to have more time at home, if nothing else. Maybe not more time because a lot of us are still working. I've been in the e-commerce space, so I'm still working, but I've got more time at home to do some things that have been on my list for some time, that haven't gotten done. So take this opportunity to actually do things differently than you have before. Don't be afraid, to actually step out of your comfort zone and enlist the people around you. Everyone, Nicole is my person, but everyone needs that one person in your life that is going to, pick you up and dust you off when you fail and say, you know what, that was absolutely awful. It was as bad as you thought it was going to be, but you know what? Let's get going and do it again. Let's get going and get something, better going now. But the thing about it is you're never going to get to that level of greatness until you get through some of those failures. And there's nothing wrong with failing. We've got to place ourselves right now in a position of vulnerability that I think many of us have never dealt with because we are at home with the people that we love for a lot longer than we are used to. And so you're going to have to reach out to your family members. You're going to have to reach out, to your kids, and you're going to actually have to ask for help. Many of us are not comfortable with that, but this is a great time to ask for the help that you need to position yourself to be as successful as you want to be in this e-commerce space.
Absolutely. So I'm going to let's talk about the different ways in which you can do e-commerce.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I have pretty much done it all, but most of it has been specifically with online arbitrage or retail arbitrage or wholesale. I've been preparing myself for some time now to get into the private label arena. And I'm still doing some of the research. I don't want to get into analysis paralysis, so I'm reaching out to some business coaches to get that done. But from the standpoint of online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, there is a massive amount of opportunity, because if there's one thing that our society does not lack, it's products. So for me, while I'm out, I'm a mother of two teenage sons. And so anyone who knows me very well knows that shopping was abhorrent to me. I do not like shopping in the least, but it's a necessity. I've always had to shop for the things that my family needed. And so one of the things that I would do was when I was out shopping, I would be looking for the best deal. I got into the selling online on eBay many years ago, even before I had kids. But for back then, it was just about, getting rid of some of the things around me that I wasn't using, didn't have a need for, or had never used. And, 20 plus years ago, I'm aging myself, but back then there were not nearly as many buyers as there were online as there are now. But when I would put something up for sale and realize that, someone across the country could buy it in a matter of a few days, I mean, that was amazing to me. And so I was very quickly hooked to the idea that, I could make money just by selling things around my house that I didn't have a need for, especially when, I didn't want to go out. I didn't like shopping, so I didn't want to go out to have to return that item or, go out in any other sense of fashion to have to get rid of it. So retail arbitrage allows you to actually go out, find items, and because I'm a bargain shopper, I'm typically looking for items at a discounted price and sell those items in an online space for more. Some people may view this as opportunistic, but I want you to take into account that every item that I sell, I'm going to have to pay for shipping, whether it's shipping to Amazon or shipping to the customer. Every item that I sell, I'm actually taking my time, and the fact that, it's something that I wouldn't normally want to do, but it's like a job, like anyone else. So I'm actually taking my time, where someone that goes online, all they're doing is clicking on a button. So I'm making that item available to a person that has a need. And for many people who are not bargain shoppers, they want what they want when they want it. I've found that item for you and made it available for you. So in a nutshell, that's what retail arbitrage is. But I want our viewers to look at it a little bit differently. For me, everything that I bring into my house is a possible item for sale. So I can go out because my kids need something. That's typically the only time I'll go out. But I go out because we need something in our home. And when I bring it into my home, if I don't have time to do it while I'm in the store, every item that I bring into my home gets scanned. I want to know if it's something that we need. Amazon has built-in software that will give me a really good idea of just how popular that item is. And so just because I bought it, I'm maybe at the lower end of the spectrum in terms of what people are looking for, because I'm not a consumerist. I'm not, a big buyer, but I'm buying it because we need it. But if we need it, many households around the globe need the same thing. So whether it's the brand that I bought, the type that I bought, or the quantity that I bought, I'm going to scan that item and see just how popular it is, which already puts me in a place to think of other items. So once I see what I bought, Amazon does this great thing of letting us know other items that people have looked at. So that's just research in it at its very best from the very beginning. Super easy things that you can do without going into a whole lot of deep analysis and buying tools or whatever. When I go to buy something, I'm going to always take a look and see how popular that item is. And if it's not my brand, maybe there's another brand. And so the next time I'm out, or if I'm going to do online arbitrage from that point, I can go and see where I can get that item. I can flip that item over, take a look at the manufacturer or the distributor, give them a call and see what rates I can get that for if I'm buying that in bulk.
Right.
In the past, I've been able to get that item shipped directly to either a prep and fulfillment center or directly to Amazon and have them do the work for me. And from that standpoint, if it's an essential item, that work is done. That work is done. So online arbitrage and retail arbitrage is just one way to sell online. And for the past, I'd say 6 or 7 years, that's been my preferred method, because in my space with young and active kids still at home, I had to make it fit into my lifestyle. And the only thing that I was really doing outside of, my kids' activities and school things and that sort of thing was going out to buy things for the home. And so instead of having to add something to my life, I made it fit in to making the thing that I was already going out to do, having that make money for me. And so that's able to make retail arbitrage and online arbitrage work for us.
And retail arbitrage and online arbitrage is also known sometimes as shopping for profits. And so, again, it's another way. You can also incorporate thrifting, which is another way of shopping for profits. It's reselling items. And so, thrifting is one additional way of taking advantage of retail arbitrage. And one of the strategies we use, this is just a tip, so if you're taking notes, this is great. What I try to do, or what we try to do, is teach people to buy items when they go on clearance. So we would buy items that are Valentine's Day items after Valentine's Day is over. For those of you that don't know, Walmart puts everything on clearance the day of and the day after. So, you'll normally get 50%. If you hold out and wait out, you can get sometimes up to 75 or 80 or 90%. So after Halloween, we'll go buy all the Halloween costumes. After Christmas, we'll go buy all the Christmas. After Thanksgiving or back to school, we'll go buy all the school supplies, and we'll get everything at 70, 80% off, which means we're buying things below wholesale. And that gives you the opportunity to save a boatload of money and increase your ROI and sell it for next year. The thing that you have to keep in mind when you're doing that strategy is that it's going to involve being hands-on. It's going to involve touching inventory. And so that is the one thing about retail arbitrage, is you are touching inventory, and you have to keep that in mind. Not everyone likes retail arbitrage. So some people don't want to touch inventory. They want to be 100% hands-off. So we'll talk about, I'm going to talk through a couple of other strategies. So one of the strategies is drop shipping or wholesaling. Those are very similar, pretty close. Drop shipping is when you buy inventory from a wholesaler or from a supplier or distributor that will ship the item directly to your customer for you. There's also other forms of drop shipping. You can use online arbitrage research, where you find an item on one website, you list it on another website, and your customer buys it from you. So an example might be, I might go to, I don't know if this is a URL or not, but babies.com, and pull up a baby bed on babies.com.
Everything's
Everything's a URL, but anyway, so babies.com, there's a baby bed on there, and maybe the baby bed is $99. Well, I might take that URL. I probably will want to set up a wholesale account with babies.com if I can, or make sure that it's okay to drop ship from babies.com. I'll list that item on another platform with an increased price. Maybe I'm selling it for $199. Who knows? And just to account for my fees in the middle of this. And so my profit on that $199 may only be $25 because of all the other transactional things that are happening behind the scenes. But in any case, if I'm establishing a wholesale account, that's making that side work. So engaging wholesale suppliers, establishing wholesale accounts, and then using them to drop ship the item to your customer for you. Or you can list them on your own website if you decide you want to set up your own website. You set up a Shopify store, and maybe you sell all baby stuff. And you'll set that up on your page, and you'll have all kinds of products that people can click on and buy from your store. And again, you're using a wholesale supplier or a drop shipper to be able to send that item off to the customer. Then go ahead.
No, that was going to say that's one of the things I'm also employing. I mentioned earlier on that I got my kids' site set up, and that's the method that I've chosen for them. We talked about it. They already, I allowed them to choose their logo. They decided what methodology they wanted to use. But in saying that, I think it's important that we mention here that as you're going forward with the Seller Summit, it's important to note that as every speaker talks to you, especially like I just mentioned retail arbitrage, don't get caught in like a tunnel. You've got to think outside the box. The way that person is telling you that things can be done is absolutely not the only way that it can be done. For me, like I say, when I do things as they come in, of course I do. Nicole mentioned Shopping for Profits, and we've done a ton of events where we've actually taken people out specifically to do those things. But for me, I was able to work that into my daily schedule. I was able to work that in and actually make money going out doing the things that I was already doing. But if you're not, if some people say, well, I only shop online, I only shop from home, I only do whatever. I just gave you a tip to say, well, when the things come into your home, you never had to go into the store. Scan the things that go into your pantry right now. You've got some time. Go into your pantry, you download the app, you set up an account and download the app, go into your pantry, start scanning items, and you'll be able to see just by going to either our YouTube site and getting the basics on Amazon and finding out how that works, what the ranks mean. You'll be able to know that you've got money sitting right there, things that you never thought about selling, things that you never thought about. This is money that I actually spent money on it. But just to give you an idea, if you spent $2 on it, but somebody else is willing to pay $14 for it, and you've got 20 of them sitting in your pantry, you do the math, but it's that kind of thing where you're not thinking about, okay, I spent money for it, but it could have made me money. You could still buy it. But one of the games that I like to play, and especially when my kids were younger, but when I did have to go to the store, one of the motivations for me to get out was I played a game where if I just had to go buy milk and meat and onions, if I was going to spend $50, I had made it a game where I put $50 worth of profit into my basket. So that was what got me out of the store, because I knew that whatever I was having to buy, it was going to be paid for by the time I got home. I'd scan the items and list them while I was there. And we've talked about this many times in our membership site and on some of our other trainings. But a lot of times things sell before I even left the store. And I'm like, that's an actual, like alarm. And as we like to say, clear the shelves. But anything that's in there, if it's selling that quickly, it's like, man, I just listed this. If it's selling that quickly, everything that's in there that's available to buy, I'm going to get it. And then I'm also going to go home and get online and get some additional. But there are all of these opportunities. I just want to make sure that our viewers understand that just because we're talking about our way of doing things, we just want to give you some ideas of what's out there. There's a plethora of ways to actually be in this e-commerce space, making money, making changes, and being innovative and making it work for you and your family. But we want to make sure that you understand that there's 20 plus speakers here. 20 plus speakers, their way of doing things. You're bound to find one that you can make work for you.
That's absolutely true. So I'm going to rattle off a couple of them. And then I know that there's a couple of things we want to cover towards the end, but I talked about drop shipping, and I also talked about Shopify, and I talked about wholesale all at the same time. And so they are all associated with each other. Shopify is one of the platforms in which you can sell on or use to sell your products. But so the difference between wholesale and or drop shipping is you're not physically handling inventory. So that was the distinction I wanted to make between the retail arbitrage or shopping for profits, whether it's shopping in a retail store, you're going to a thrift store, you're going to specialty stores, or whatever it happens to be. And then wholesale suppliers are distributors and establishing accounts with them, and then creating a relationship so they can drop ship the products for you. In addition to that, so that's hands off. If you don't like to handle inventory, if you don't have a lot of space, then that method may or may not be the way for you. Another method is private label or white label. Private label is when you create a product, you create all the packaging, you create everything about it. White label is when and you put your logo on it and you put it on a platform and you sell it, and then maybe you're working with a manufacturer distributor to send it to the customer for you, or maybe that manufacturer distributor is sending your stuff directly into Amazon for you, and then people are buying it directly off of Amazon. There's a lot of people who make a lot of money with private label. White label is where you're taking some products that have already been like created and you're just slapping your logo on it versus you're creating your own product. So you can take a list of maybe there's bottles of shampoo and they're like, hey, you can white label these, meaning you can put your logo on them. So that's another way. Again, you're going to be hands off with white label more than likely, or private label. There are some people that decide that they want to ship the stuff to the customers themselves. And that method is called merchant fulfilled or seller fulfilled. If you want to have that distributor or manufacturer send them directly to your house with your stuff on it, and you want to send it to the customer yourself, again, you're merchant fulfilling it or seller fulfilling it. It means you're sending it through UPS or USPS or FedEx, those ways. And then on top of that, or you can have it sent directly in. So private label and white label, another way to make a lot of money. When you're ready to scale, private label and white label can make you a boatload of money. White label, you will have more people selling something similar to yours because all they're doing is just changing out the logo on it. Whereas private label, you're creating a product, you're developing a product. There's more stuff that's involved. We have a great speaker that's in this session that's going to be talking. Well, there's a couple they're going to be talking about private label, but one of them, there's an attorney that you want to check out his session if you're interested in private label, so you can better understand what are the things you need to do to protect yourself if you're going to do private label. Because there's trademarks and all this other stuff, and we won't get into all that, but that's another great opportunity for you to learn about that. Wholesaling, if you're interested in that, I'm going to tell you Sean Mayo is going to cover a great topic on it. So again, another session worth looking into for wholesaling. And the last, not really the last, but I'm going to talk about briefly print on demand and merch. So
1 second, Nicole. Let me interject quickly on the private label side. We want to make sure we don't forget to tell everyone that in addition to that, if you don't want to handle the product, that you can always implement or use the services of a prep and fulfillment service so that you can have your own product, but you can ship that all over to someone else and have them fulfill the orders for you. And that can be on your own website. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the Amazon side. So
Correct.
that's one of the things I'm looking at again for my children's website where they have their own products. We're looking at drop shipping as well as private label. They've got some great ideas. I want to make sure that this is their space and they're able to do whatever it is that they want to do. So again, we want to make sure that we emphasize you've got ideas. Use this time, use this space, use the speakers wonderful and very informative presentations to get down all the things that you can actually move forward with. Go ahead, Nicole. Sorry.
Absolutely. So also some of the other speakers, we're going to be covering print on demand, or you may also hear about merch, which is another form of print on demand. Merch by Amazon is where Amazon is printing your designs onto specific products. So right now it's limited to a few products, whereas if you expand out into the print on demand space that's outside of, you can get all kinds of products with your design on it. So I'm going to give you an example. I will say of all of the ways in which to do e-commerce, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or reselling, flipping. Flipping is inexpensive if you're using low cost strategies, but it is going to involve money. Print on demand is one of the lowest cost ways in which to get started because you're not spending any money and you're creating ideas and putting it on a product. So maybe you're designing a shirt. That's another way of print on demand. You can print on demand. You can superimpose things on bags. You can superimpose things on socks. Like you can have a manufacturer. There's different sites, and I'm not going to get into all of them because there are two amazing speakers that are going to talk about print on demand. But you can create a design and have that superimposed on different products, whether it be shirts, hats, socks, bags, whatever it happens to be, jackets, long sleeves, short sleeves, hoodies, pencils, notepads. There's all kinds of ways in which to do in the print on demand space. And the one that we hear a lot about is merch, because Amazon is fulfilling that one. There's also KDP, which is Kindle publishing. So there's so many different ways in which to make money. But the great thing about it is that is the lowest cost way to get started in e-commerce. Lowest cost. Second next or next in line would probably be clipping and retail arbitrage, or you're finding things around your house. Then the next level up is going to be getting into wholesale accounts. It's going to cost you a little bit more money. And the next level up is going to be private label. So those are the steps from a cost standpoint. And I will tell you, private label probably and drop shipping will make you the most money. You can make a lot of money. There's a lot of retail arbitragers out there that are making a lot of money in this space, and also print on demand sellers that are making a lot of money in this space. So I wanted to give you just a little bit of information about the different ways in which you can do e-commerce. And then we probably have a couple minutes and we can just talk briefly about the platforms. I know we talked about Amazon. She mentioned Amazon. So there's eBay. eBay is another platform. It's probably second in line of all the platforms when it comes to competition to Amazon. Ironically, Walmart is taking up some space there. You can sell on Walmart. We actually have a speaker, Mihail, who's going to be talking about that. So the print on demand sessions you want to watch are Natalie and Helen. So you want to check those out. And then Mihail is going to be talking about selling on Walmart. You can also sell on Etsy. Natalie's going to be talking about that. And then we also have the other platforms will be the mobile apps, Facebook Marketplace, and so on and so forth. So I think Jess is talking about some of the mobile apps. We talk about the mobile apps all day in our eCom Sellers Academy, but we love the mobile apps. Poshmark, Macari, definitely. OfferUp, 5 Mile, Vented. Those are some that I just threw out there. So I wanted to make sure we talked about the platforms. So is there anything from the ways in which to do e-commerce and the platforms that I may have missed, Renata?
No, Nicole, I can't think of any. Like I said, we've got a multitude of presenters that are going to cover all of this information in depth. But Nicole and I just wanted to give you kind of an introduction to what you can expect. But we wanted to make sure that you go into this just knowing that you need to step out of your comfort zone, be kind to yourself. If you haven't done this before, give yourself some grace, give yourself some mercy, give yourself some time to learn this. Many of our presenters have been in this space for a very long time. We've got an academy where we do weekly trainings, we do weekly Q&As. We actually give everyone an opportunity to actually get started from the ground up. So don't be intimidated by the information that you hear, but use this time to get as much information as you possibly can. The next 4 days are completely free. And I can't thank Nicole enough for having created this space for those of us in e-commerce and those who have a desire to get started in e-commerce. But use this time, use this space, and by all means, use the energy that you have to create something. You are in a position right now where you can, the next decision you make, the next few decisions you make can change your life. You're one decision away from changing your life, from changing your family's life. And so I encourage you to spend the time and to take the notes that are for the next 4 days, all of the wonderful presenters that Nicole has put together, take all the information, show up for the panels. Part of the process is showing up. You've got to show up. And so, again, I want to thank Nicole for actually putting this together and for actually inviting me and just giving me an opportunity just to, we've changed topics several times because of all of the things that are going on in our world right now. Some things. And so having the ability to pivot on a moment's notice, that's where we are. So I thank Nicole for her grace and her mercy and just having me come on anyway, even though my topic was no longer timely.
Yeah, I want to thank you for just making the time to do this. And I want to thank all of you that are participating and watching. Stay encouraged, stay hopeful, don't lose hope, hold on to your dreams, dream big. Whatever your dream is, it's still possible. So try to see the light. Renata has been trying to get you to see that there's another way in which to do this. And hold on to hope. Definitely stay prayed up. So thank you for taking the time. We do have 4 amazing panels each day. So day 1, I'm just going to run those down, and then we are going to let you all go to the next video. The first panel is print on demand, and that's on Monday. Sourcing is on Tuesday. Wednesday is Tuesday is retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So if you want to learn a little bit about that, there's actually a panel for that. Sourcing is on Wednesday, and Thursday is print on demand. So if you're wanting to learn or want to have a deeper conversation, you can ask questions, definitely tune into those sessions. We're excited that you're here. We're excited that you registered. And I'm thankful for you, Renata, for participating. So
thank you so much.
we do want, if you need any more help outside of the summit, please feel free to sign up for the eCom Sellers Academy. We're always here for you. And we are wishing you much success on your journey in e-commerce. eCom Sellers Academy, where your success matters.
eComSellersAcademy.com.
eComSellersAcademy.com. All right. Thank you again.
Have a great one.